Hello and welcome to Big Talk live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. My name is Edika Michael. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight and joining us on the show. We'll now turn attention to Lagos State. The Speaker, Majisola, is saying that she's under pressure to resign as a Speaker, which has also led to a lot of controversy. And just in a reaction to that, the police have also responded by removing CP Larry Shola and appointing CP Moshood Jimo as a new Commissioner of Police of Lagos State. This is following the role of the Lagos State Police Command in the ongoing crisis of the speakership tussle at the Lagos State House of Assembly. Now, the Police Service Commission has, with immediate effect, ordered the removal of the incumbent Commissioner of Police in Lagos Command, CP Larry Shola, to replace CP Moshood Jimo in a press statement signed and released to the media. They've also stated that the police command approved the appointment with immediate effect, which, of course, is to take over and replace some abnormality within the Lagos State House of Assembly. I just recall the DSS have also come out to clarify themselves, because members of the Lagos State House of Assembly were condemning the invasion of the Assembly complex by operatives of the Department of State Services and the Nigerian Police, describing it as a rape of democracy. And that is a statement coming from DSS saying that they acted based on invitation to secure properties and, of course, to look at the stability within the Lagos State premises. But take a look at the drama that unfolded earlier today at the Lagos State House of Assembly.
Talk to you, right? Thank you for
that. Played out earlier today at the House of Assembly, which many have said Lagos politics, just like Rivers, we also have Lagos politics. But subsequently on the show tonight, we'll be getting some feedback from one who have witnessed our proceedings and the happenings within the Lagos State politics. Will be joining us virtually to give us an understanding. What really is the problem is former Speaker Obaza still insisting on being the Speaker. What does the law say is the interpretation of the reaction and of the members of the Lagos State House of Assembly. We'll try to balance all of that feedback for you on the show tonight. But everyone will be paying attention to allegations that have been raised by United States Congressman Scott Perry, who has alleged that United States Agency for International Development, that is the USAID, has been funding terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram, through its financial aid programs. Perry is a Republican from the Pennsylvania and made this claim during the inaugural hearing of the Subcommittee on Delivering Government Efficiency. In his presentation entitled "The War on West, Stamping Out the Scourge of Improper Payment and Fraud." That is a U.S. congressman speaking and making some allegations in which has also led to the reactions of Nigerians who have now called for the probe of the spread of these allegations behind the Boko Haram funding in Nigeria. Take a listen to what the U.S. congressman said.
Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money, $697 million annually, plus the Shinsa Cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding. If you think that the program under Operation Enduring Sentinel entitled Women's Scholarship Endowment, which receives $60 million annually, or the Young Women Lead, which gets about $5 million annually, is going to women who, by the way, if you read the Inspector General's report, is telling you that the Taliban does not allow women to speak in public. Yet somehow you're believing, and American people are supposed to believe, that this money is going for the betterment of the women in Afghanistan. It is not. You are funding terrorism, and it's coming through USAID. And it's not just Afghanistan, because Pakistan's right next door. USAID spent $840 million in the last 20 years on Pakistan's education-related program. It includes $136 million to build 120 schools, of which there is zero evidence that any of them were built. Why would there be any evidence? The Inspector General can't get in to see them. But you know what? We doubled down and spent $20 million from USAID to create educational television programs for children unable to attend the physical school. Yeah, they can't attend it because it doesn't exist. You paid for it. Somebody else got the money. You are paying for terrorism. This has got to end. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
That is a U.S. congressman speaking. A lot of reactions have continued to trail that allegations following the U.S. and, of course, joining us tonight to extract this development. What it means for that allegations to come from not just Nigeria, but this time from the United States. Is our political analyst joins us live here. Professor Ibrahim Ado is here in the studio to give us a review of all of this development. What does USAID stands for Nigeria? Do we really need that? And if they are not saying that they are against, and of course those behind funding Boko Haram, how do Nigerians react to this? Thanks so much, Prof, for joining us on the show tonight.
Yeah, good evening.
I mean, it gets many Nigerians to be bothered and worried, knowing fully well that this is about life of Nigerians that have been destroyed. Parents of many families, look at the Chibok girls and the affliction of the activities of this terrorism within not just the northern Nigeria, but entirely the country. For U.S. congressman to come out to give these allegations, do you feel that we should owe that, as a strong allegations?
It is no longer an allegation because several times I have said it that the United States promotes terrorism, banditings, and insurgency in Nigeria. I have never one day said no, Americans has no hand in it. Because I've asked a lot of time, where is the source of funding and where is the source of weaponry? Nobody has been able to say this is what it is. I have mentioned United States of America being behind all this for several years now, and nobody has come to say why. The issue here is that when you look at the promotion of Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, and the rest was promoted by Americans, and they wasted over $4 billion to promote that activities in Afghanistan and other places, including Iraq and the rest. And they know where they were going to. They came back to Nigeria, and the place, they started with the South-South, bringing these young men to agitate for what, where they spent about 100 million. In the Northeast and Northwest, they have already spent about 500 million to 1 billion. So what do they stand to achieve? That is the question. They know where all our resources are. They want to destabilize us. They know that Nigeria is so rich, and we have no coordination to build these riches into wealth. And they want to take that wealth from us, sweeping it from us, looking at it as if they are giving us some opportunities when there is no opportunity anywhere. But you cannot give it away when some certain elements actually aid these people. Nigerians aid them.
They don't work in isolation.
They are not working in isolation. You don't know what is inside my bedroom unless somebody tell you what is there. So So many of them are working there, and these are the people that are hierarchies in the government of Nigeria. Their names are clearly written. They know themselves. And that is each time I speak, I said, they know themselves. They know themselves. And these are people that, one way or the other, are above 50, 60. So how many years do they have on earth? Who suffer the detriment? Their children, their grandchildren. Because we all own these countries together. They are not going to stay forever.
I mean, Prof, if you say that this is not just an allegation, that it is more than that, looking at how we can begin to investigate, do you feel that the National Assembly we have, or the Nigerian government also can properly have to investigate these?
It doesn't need any much investigation. Do you know that there was a time that Shell in Nigeria bought weapons, bought equipment, bought machineries of over 150 million US dollars to destabilize the economy of Nigeria? What did Nigeria do? Is Shell not operating up to tomorrow? What will the investigation do? The investigation will end somewhere, because they are all parties to it.
So what do we do with this information now that we have received and it's coming from them?
We don't have proper security formations. We don't have proper security policies. We don't have security laws. So at the end of the day, you are writing a report and you are sending it to the same person who is a party to it. So do
we vindicate a man like Goodluck Jonathan, because those that feel that it was really used to campaign against Goodluck Jonathan to remove him out of office? Can we vindicate him out of all of this?
Goodluck Jonathan, the person you called Goodluck Jonathan, who I know, what role did he play? He was just a novice to the system. Why is General Andrew Aziza killed with Patrick Yakowa? They should tell us. Was it just a helicopter crash? They should tell us the truth. They should tell us. They should be open to tell us straightforward what the truth about their death is.
Because that was a hit of it, and many have said, look, the Boko Haram crisis was at the hit when Jonathan was in power. It was as if it was a political agenda against the government of the day.
Yeah, because it was an open system that he was operating on.
What do you mean by open system?
When you have an open system, you are a novice, you are not sensitive to some issues, then you operate an open system.
So it therefore means that the USAID or whatever funding process that they had to use people within Nigeria to be able to carry out this successfully.
They were not even used, not only the US aids that we are talking of, including McCarthy, including the Ford Foundation, including Melinda Brigade Foundations. These are pipelines they were using, the Americans were using here.
So you mean all the aids coming into this country has to be questioned?
Yes.
But aids means well for us. If we look at the impact of some
Why
of
are
these
you giving me
interventions.
aids? Did I ask for aids?
Is it not
what is the mission?
For third world countries like Nigeria?
What is the mission? Why do they accept everything that comes in from the foreign land? What is their mission? Why are they giving me aids?
You think Nigeria does not need aid?
When you need it, it should be for a particular reasons. You shouldn't give me money that I don't need. They are giving me money that I don't want, or the meaning to money to meet my wants, not my needs. There was a time the police, let me bring the police into it. The German services was to train about 20,000 Nigerian police. Why didn't they give the Nigerian student scholarship to come and study in Germany? Why did you want to train the Nigerian police? Why? So do you need it? Or is just a want to recruit some of our policemen, our servicemen?
I mean, if you look at these USID and other foreign aids, those that are really worried that if it's entirely removed, that it may create some impacts, not just Africa, but Nigeria as a whole. Are you not bothered about that?
I'm not bothered about that because we have resources that can give us the services we want in Nigeria.
Or is it well managed?
Well, we have to figure it out. Nobody built an island with one tree.
Do you feel that this is a war? Because when you look at the agenda of President Donald Trump, he's trying to cut costs of governance and excesses and expenses from government. That is why he has also looked at the expenses and what is happening within the USAID. Some said that it looks at it is just an agenda, an allegation to wipe out foreign aids to other countries.
One thing you don't know about Donald Trump, which I will tell you today, is Donald Trump wants to show the nakedness of America.
What do you mean?
America is the poorest nation you can ever think of. And the Americans have to wake up to work. So Donald Trump wants to make sure that Americans work for every services. And we should sit up and work too. Where have you ever seen people galvanizing with their intellectual properties? Where? Do you know what China was in the 70s and 80s? What is China today? Everybody rushed to China because they decided to sit up and say, this is our nation, we have to build it. Till the day Nigeria decides to sit up and build our nation, we will remain where we are.
Is this also a clarion call for Nigeria and Africa? Because
yes, because we have been taken for granted for so long. And we promote it, making ourselves look inferior to some people who are supposed to be inferior. They are now superior. So why should I degrade myself to become inferior and make somebody to look superior to myself? What has he that I have not gotten? And that is the problem. We call common Lebanese, Indians, and Chinese here master or Ga. What for? What position or privilege do they hold that you don't have? The color, the shape, the size, or what? So what intellectual value do they have? So why not we create our own assets and build a flame of network that stands time?
So do you really feel that Nigeria as we stand now can be able to, respond towards America? Because if you look at what South Africa is already doing, yeah. Many are scared that it might backfire at the end of the day.
It only backfires when the policy frameworks does not favor the nation. If Nigeria can generate whatever they want to generate, to hell with American.
That's what Ribadu told Canada the other day.
He said it.
That to hell with Canada.
Yes, he said it with some sentiment.
But many Nigerians are saying, no, it cannot be hell with Canada.
I am not backing him. He said it out of sentiments. I'm not saying my out of sentiments. I can give you reasons why I said to hell with America.
Give us the reasons.
One, what did America have that we don't have? What sense of belonging, what intellectual value, what intellectual properties do Americans have that we don't have? So you must know what you have internally before you say this is what you can do. I cry for Nigeria because Nigeria is not going towards the direction it's supposed to go to. We go into frivolities, elementary things that are not important to us. We go after wants, not needs. And you want us to prosper and be in one flame. We create disunity where there is supposed to be unity. We talk of tongues and religions when they are not things that we are supposed to be thinking of. We talk of ethnicity. Did you know that the Chinese has about 56 ethnicities, languages in diversity, but they are still one because they speak one China language, the Kama language of China. So what is wrong with us? Do the Indians speak one language? Do Chinese speak one language? No. They have 56 different languages in China. But they are still one, in uniform, in unity, and moving. We should move from where we are. But we can't move when the administrative system and the managerial system is in abeyance. We are trying to navigate to the right and we are going left, even turning around one circle, running around the circle. That is the problem we have.
All right. I mean, Okunji-Iweala, I've spoken when African leaders were having the meeting. It said that it's time for African leaders not to stop relying on the foreign aid and focus on mobilizing domestic resources to attract. Because Nigeria have been trying to play a big brother role in Africa, but you look at the fact that we do not have all of that capacity to continue to do that, knowing fully well the leadership crisis that we are having in Africa. Democracy practice in Africa might not allow us to be able to carry out all of these beautiful expectations that we may have, because if you said you are comparing America may boast of their democracy. May have a system where it is working, leadership is working. But when you come back to Nigeria, come back to Africa, we are still having leadership challenges. So if Okunji-Iweala is not saying, see, let's stop looking abroad for foreign aid and now look at domestic resources to attract more investors. Do you feel that is right?
She's right. But don't tell me American has gotten democracy right.
We borrowed leave from them.
Yeah, we borrowed leave from them does not mean they have gotten it right. They still have not gotten it right. Because I know the rules.
But it's better than Africa.
I know the rules Federation of Russia played in the election of Donald Trump. We know this, so they can't say they have gotten it right. They have not gotten it right anywhere. There is no perfection in imperfection. Nobody will tell me that he has gotten perfection from imperfection. There is no perfect concepts and principle that created democracy in America that has made it perfect.
But
today.
the model of democracy is a beautiful one.
Not beautiful because some people are still living in warlocks in America. People are living in shallows in America. So when they show the beautiful side of America, does not make American an entity of cleanness. That is what we have to get right here in Africa. You can't whitewash black into white and you want everybody to accept it as white.
So are you saying that the Western media or the West have been demarketing Africa?
Yes, we have been demarketed so much. I know propaganda is a part of security, but the propaganda against Africa is the worst propaganda you can ever think of, by the Western media, by the Western imperialists, by the Western press. And that is why in security we have press and security. We have not been able to tap most aspects of security to build our security network. We are better than them 100 times better than them, and I can say it anywhere in the world.
The life of many people in Nigeria and Africa are not better off compared to the statistics we have. You're going by statistics, poverty statistics, unemployment statistics.
That is where those who sold us and who are still selling us, who are behind what we are going through today, that is where they came in. They're coming. How many of our leaders that have served this country that are not affiliated, apart from Goodluck Jonathan, to the Western world one way or the other? How many of them? Whether in the military or out of the military. Whether military or civilians. They all know.
Do you believe in leadership in isolation?
So when you are selling your nation, what do you expect to happen? After the billions that they have made, after the Walla Bowl of Farouk Abdul Samad, or what is his name? Have you heard anything about Farouk any longer? Is he actually in prison or not in prison? Who have told us the full story up to today? But how much did America make from us? How much for blackmail? Who have discussed this in the affair of nations? Who? Nobody. So must we be under blackmail, threat, and intimidation and we are watching as a government, as society, as people?
All right, Prof. I mean, it's still a very developing conversation, and of course, we'll continue to track that. But let's now turn attention to Ribadu was saying to hell with Canada. This came as a result of a Canadian embassy denying some of army personnel here in Nigeria a visa, including the chief of defense, who also gave his own ordeals of experience over these incidents. But take a look, listen to what the National Security Advisor said before Prof will help us to analyze today's, because many have asked the question, what were the senior army officers going to do in Canada? They have given their explanation, but let's take a listen to what the National Security Advisor said.
Thank you for the courage to say that Canada denied you. They can go to hell. Even though it's painful, it's disrespectful, but we are people. We are strong. And I agree with you. We have to fix our country. We have to do it well. Yes, this disrespect is too much. So, yet is another reason why we work hard to make Nigeria work and be respected.
That is Mala Ribadu speaking. I mean, take away is that action by Canada is disrespectful. And he has also said we have to fix our own country, Prof. When you look at that, our IAS, CDS, Chief of Defense Staff being denied visa, looks at is a national embarrassment to Nigeria. Many have also tagged that it is a sign of disrespect to Nigeria. It does not speak well of us. Would you distance yourself from those who feel that way?
What is the disrespect? And why is it a national disgrace to Nigeria? It's a disgrace for them who cannot fix Nigeria, who are going to celebrate veterans in Canada. How many veterans do we have in Nigeria? How many of them have been celebrated? You have not eaten in your house. You are carrying yourself to go to another man's house to feed. Don't we have veterans in Nigeria? We have veterans in Nigeria. How many of them has been celebrated? Why must we always take a lead goes to, what is he going to do? What is the CDS going to do in Canada? What are they going there for? That is the question. And whose money? And who budgeted for such money? So what are you going there for? Why should you call it a disrespect? They have done us good because they have saved us some chunk of dollars that they will have gone to waste for nothing. Why can't we think? We're a nation where we don't think. We are celebrating veterans in Canada where we cannot celebrate our veterans in Nigeria. Don't we have them? What impact have we done for them? Those who have actually gone through the trenches for what Nigeria is today. How many times we have we gathered for even common prayer for them, not to talk of even celebrating them? So why are we going to Canada to go and celebrate veterans? Who are those veterans? And of what importance are they to Nigeria? Or even the African nation? They are of no importance. We don't even know them. So it's a waste.
The number?
It shows that we are not even thinking. We don't even need a delegate to celebrate veterans in Canada. We don't even need a single delegate from Nigeria.
So you said it's a misplaced priority for them?
Very, very misplaced.
But I mean, let's consider, yes, if we must look at the fact that, yes, indeed, for them to go out means that it will consume more of our resources. But let's take a look at the action taken against Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff and the Nigeria Army. Do you feel that we can justify the action enough? Maybe I've said, look, we should respect our country.
Said Canada Army or Nigeria Army. What is the place of Nigeria in Canada?
No, for Canada Embassy to deny Nigerian Army or a Chief of Defense Staff a visa, what is the meaning of it?
What is the mission?
If we were in the position as the Chief of Defense Staff and you were denied a Canadian visa to entry of Canada, will you be happy?
I won't even try it. I won't even apply for a Canada visa. I can't be in service in Nigeria and start going to Canada to do what? What am I going to learn from Canada?
Because that's on the flip
This
side.
program is how many days and how many weeks? So what are you going to learn? What are you going for? What is your purpose of going to Canada? They should tell us that they want to go and scat away some dollars in Canada, and we agree with them. But on this, there is no purpose. There's no reason going to Canada.
So to tell me, so if the National Security Advisor is now saying we have to fix our country, who is it directing this statement to now?
He's directing it to his office because he's the National Security Advisor and the chief coordinator of our security organizations.
Does it speak to the status of Nigeria in the international system?
He has no even reason to. We are supposed to bury our faces. It's not supposed to come to the public domain and start measuring it. We are supposed to bury our faces in shame. What was Canada in the 1960s to the 70s? Who was ready to go to Canada for any reason from Nigeria? So why can't we bury ourselves in shame?
In the 1970s, Canada wasn't a go-to place.
Even to the 80s, who was ready to go to Canada? For what? For what? These years I am counting till 1987, from 1972 to 1987, 5 Nigerian universities were among the best 25 universities in the world. Today, 1,600 were not there. What is wrong with us? Who is ready for Canada? Where was Canada in the realm of things in the 60s, 70s to 80s? Why should Canada become so important now? Why did I die for Canada? Why did I die for foreign trips? Why?
So a call to fix the country.
Why should you be serving an agency like the Nigerian Army? You have your domestic issues here. You need protective networks, protective mechanisms, and everything. Yeah. You have not fixed them. You are rushing to Canada, going to America, going to UK and the rest. For what? What is the purpose?
So they have to sit back home to fix the nation.
Can your house be in fire and you are going to another place? Your house is fire. Your children are there. Your wife is there. You have not rescued them. You are going to another place. That means you are actually a saboteur.
All right.
They are supposed to even try them.
All right. So, I mean, Prof, coming back home, yes, indeed, a work to progress. Many have said that it looks that the security has improved under this dispensation. Would you agree to those who
I don't agree to that.
I mean, terrorism is on
No,
the low.
I don't agree to that.
And the statistics of people.
Because if you look at the statistics, how much was paid at ransom last year? How much? Over 40 billion. That is recorded. What of the ones that are not recorded? What of the ones that are not recorded? The ones that pass through the backyard, that they are not recorded. So when we say 40 billion, then it is maybe 2 or 3 times more than that amount. So there is nothing. It is only growing by the day. They are changing tactics, changing strategies, and they are winning it all. So if anybody tell me there is one reduction since this government come in, the person is deceiving himself.
So they still have a whole lot of work to do.
We know what these people who they said they have dropped their arms and the rest, we know what is happening on the ground, but that is not for public domain.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much, Professor Ibrahim Ado, our very own analyst, and of course, also a security analyst as well. Thanks so much for joining us on the show and giving us insight. Everyone, away from the issues of national security, Lagos politics is still top of the game. Analysis shows that just as you can mention Rivers State, you can't exclude Lagos State from all political drama as 2027 got to unfold itself. Obasa was trying to enter the House of Assembly today, but was resisted by the Speaker, who has continued to say that she's under pressure to resign. After this break, we'll be discussing that very briefly before we wrap up the show today. Stay with us. Policies and political actors are in the news every day, all day. And on our part, we guide you through the noise and get you to the heart of the matter. Big Talk is your home of all-angle analysis of the top political stories. Airing weekdays on Global TV, 7 p.m. Big Talk, engaging and insightful. Policies and political actors are in the news every day, all day. And on our part, we guide you through the noise and get you to the heart of the matter. Big Talk is your home of all-angle analysis of the top political stories. Airing weekdays on Global TV, 7 p.m. Big Talk, engaging and insightful. Well, just like Rivers, Lagos State politics drama is unfolding as the House of Assembly held today at the president and heavy presence of the security agencies, including the Department of State Services, DSS, who are also there. Of course, some drama played out, but the speaker said that she's under pressure to resign. For whatever this may mean, is that Obasa is still fighting back to have his position as the Speaker of the House of Assembly right there in Lagos. Isiaka, public affairs analyst, joins us from Lagos tonight to give us an understanding of how this may get to unfold and the ending of all of these political drama. Thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight. Very quickly, give us an understanding of what really played out today, because from all indications, we heard that the speaker said she's under pressure to resign. Does it mean that Obasa was trying to force himself into the premises of the House of Assembly?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. What has played out in Lagos State so far has shown us that there are more to it than what we see around. As it were, the news has been making the rounds for quite some time now that there are interests that are more or less twisting the State House of Assembly or a speaker, that's Princess Miranda, to step down. And these forces, even though not verified, but today's event has shown us clearly that these forces are there. And how far it goes is what we are yet to establish. But as far as we see the DSS getting involved in this, DSS who are under the direct purview of the presidency, it tells us that all of this that is happening is coming straight from the presidency in Abuja, or with the consent of the presidency.
Because those are really saying the Governing Advisory Council, that is the GSC, in which had backed the decision earlier for the removal of Obasa, are now divided. There's some speculation that they are now divided. Some are standing with Obasa and some are standing with Belinda for this speakership torso. Do you feel that in all indications there are some intention for some of them to bring back Obasa into the position?
Well, you see, the politics in Lagos is not one that you can really say doesn't have a leadership or direction. Yes, the committee you talked about is there and is functional, but that committee also has as its member the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, because it comprises of former governors, and they all are participants in whatever happened. They take decisions together on whatever happened. Now, that committee being divided, for me, does not suggest that we would have a situation like we're having presently in Lagos. Now, what the procedure that took place when the former speaker was impeached was a procedure that happened in the State House of Assembly, and it followed due process according to the laid down rules of the House. Now, if Obasa former Speaker Obasa is not comfortable with that, he has the option of proceeding to court, which I understand he has taken such measures. But we cannot allow the State House of Assembly to degenerate in such a way that they cannot function, in such a way that there is a threat. It's as if a threat is hanging over their neck and somebody is breathing down their neck and they cannot function. Now, we're talking of the State House of Assembly of a state in the Federation of Nigeria. Now, nobody should be allowed to be that powerful. Not Obasa, not the committee that can have such powers to override the instrument of state like a arm of government like the State House of Assembly. And I think that is something that the government must look into. When I say the government, I mean at the federal level. We must not allow some of this kind of riding rough over institutions to continue, because that's exactly what I see in it. It's a case of one person becoming larger than life and bigger than the institution and trying to override the majority position in that institution, which is not what democracy dictates.
I mean, the DSS have also reacted because the House of Assembly were making allegations as to why they had to, add their heavy presence within the premises. But DSS said that this was due to the invitation, of course, to take over the premises of the House of Assembly, and that it was purely for the purpose of restoring peace and order in the process. When you look at some of these concerns, you may look at many people may not know where to go. The House of Assembly are still standing their ground. They even passed a vote of confidence on the Speaker earlier. Many have said it seems the presidency or those who probably had earlier backed the decision to remove Obasa are now having, the House is now divided, and which is also creating a divide in the room where some persons are having this backed up, and of course these other persons are having on this end. Do you feel that this may end so well, knowing fully well that majority of the members of the House of Assembly are standing with Speaker Belina and against Obasa, who is having some support of members of the GSC? What is the future of this crisis?
You see, for me, whether the GSC, the presidency, the State of Assembly, this will end in such a way that will dictate or that will spell out what is the position of our democracy, how our democracy has functioned, whether it's effective or not, whether it's godfatherism that has the upper hand, whether it's the institutions that are functioning the way they should, or is a situation of we sitting down and deciding on issues and then just playing outside what we call maybe a show off of maybe not exactly what the state, because the State of Assembly is an institution that is empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if you have that, you cannot allow such an institution to be overridden by any individual or any other institution, not the executive, not the judiciary, and definitely not any committee, whether they are divided or not. They ought to respect the law. They ought to respect the position of the members of the State House of Assembly based on what they have decided on. And I must address one issue, the aspect of the DSS saying that they were invited to take over the House. We are having a democracy. In a democracy, you cannot have such a thing happen, where you have the DSS said they were invited to take over the state legislature of a state. It is an aberration. It is not done anywhere. It is contrary to the law that is provided in our constitution. So for me, I think the DSS must also look at what they are invited to do and look at what procedure they are in. This is just a case like what we see some time ago at the National Assembly, when the DSS blockade the entrance of the National Assembly and refuse to allow people the lawmakers to enter their offices. Now, I thought that is not allowed for in a democracy. You cannot do such a thing because these institutions are empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is a ground norm of this country for which laws are made and for which institutions are empowered. So we must be very careful, because at the end of the day, whatever comes out of this, it will tell us whether it's godfatherism that prevails, whether it is individualism, whether it is larger than life, whether it's playing behind the scene that will prevail over our institutions as empowered by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
The need to protect our institutions and, of course, not to allow the principle of separation of power must be upheld in all of this drama. That is really what Isiaka has really shared tonight on the show. Thanks so much, Honorable Isiaka, for joining us on the program and giving us the insight. There is a need for Lagos to follow the right pattern, which is justice and the rule of law, which is to be upheld. Thanks so much once again for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
everyone will continue to track the development coming from Lagos State. Just as Rivers State, can we know the real issues in the Rivers State politics as the speakership tussle and the House of Assembly membership is still on a very high level. The pressure is quite tense from the Rivers State, and now getting to Lagos State, the crisis as well. But Osun State has had their own fair share of drama when it has to do with local government politics. On the show tomorrow, we'll be highlighting all of that development coming from Osun State. The governor was sending a strong warning to the Minister of Marine Economy that President Tinubu should hold the minister for whatever crisis may occur within Osun State. A lot of reactions that followed and development so far backing that development. On the show, we'll continue to track and bring you to speed some of these developments from the state, local government, and the federal. My name is Edikan Michael. Thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight. See you again.